This demonstration will show you how a simple motor works by explaining the interaction between a fixed magnet and an electromagnet. We know that an electromagnet is created when a current flows through a conductor, or more specifically, when a current flows through a coil, which is a more efficient conductor. It creates a magnetic field. For a motor, or for this basic interaction between an electromagnet and a regular magnet, we need to understand that this particular coil has to be made in a certain way. The way it's made, it might be hard to see, is that on one side, all of this red insulation has been removed, so it's just plain copper wire. On this side, if I hold it correctly in the light, you should be able to see the red is still here. The insulation is on half of it, but on the other side, the insulation has been removed. So in other words, this coil has copper insulation, but copper all the way around. So what happens now is that when this gets put here, and I turn on a current, which is off now, I turn this on, current will flow from this through this copper stand, make contact with the copper of this rotor here, pass through, and when the copper is down and touching, a current will pass through because it's a continuous conductive path. Current flows through, goes through the copper around the coil, creating an electromagnet, and then through, connecting to this copper, coming back down and completing the circuit. But when it's rotating on top of the insulation, there is no circuit because there's no continuous flow of electrons. And this way of inducing a magnetic field around a coil of wire and having it repel, in other words, the south pole of this magnet repels the south pole of the electromagnet, it pushes it away. But then when it gets to the other side and there's a north pole that would be attracted to the south pole, it would freeze, nothing happens because there's no flow of electrons. So every half a cycle, the south pole here is repelling the south pole here, and the other half, nothing is happening because there is no electromagnet. And this is a basic magnet-electromagnet interaction which will enable this to become a small motor. Turn it off, it slows down. Now watch how it's rotating. Okay. When it slows down, it turns this way. Now, when I change the polarity, I could either switch the wires or turn this around the other direction. It rotates in the other direction because the polarity or the flow is changed and the direction changes. So that is a demonstration of a magnet and electromagnet interaction where the electromagnet turns the coil, and this device turns itself into an electromagnet for half a turn, and the south repels the south, and it turns everything off so nothing happens, so there is no north. Now, in the next video, I'm going to demonstrate a real motor, and we're going to learn a trick how we don't have to turn off the current, but we can do something else which will enable a motor to run more efficiently.